Tony Schiavone was in the ring and called out Hangman Adam Page to talk about our friend Twinkle Toes. And of course, Adam Page comes out and barely gets started. And thankfully, he didn't have more time because he was going to talk. Oh, I've failed before and I've been unsure of myself and blah, blah, blah. This same bullshit. Heroes and stars and champions and etc. are not unsure of themselves, and they don't admit when they've failed in the past because they didn't fail. They got screwed. They got cheated by the heel. They didn't fail. They've made this fucking guy a sad, drunken milksop. So anyway, he barely got started, and out came Don Callis with the Hardley Boys, Twinkle Toes, McFinger Bang, Luke Gallows. At least Anderson didn't come out. He was still probably embarrassed at his match with Moxley earlier. And of all people, Pieface Buck goes in and stands up Adam Page's face and buries him. Just talks about him being a sad, lonely drunk. And then Page nails Pieface. Boom, down he goes.
You're not doing enough justice to how bad he was on the mic in there. When he got in there and it's just like, I don't like in their heads, I'm sure it's like, this will be great, but it's so badly done in the ring. Like, hey, it's good to see you. We haven't seen you. Like the whole bad acting. And Matt Jackson is the most counterproductive person in the entire business on the microphone because he makes people, I think, want to just turn him off. He sucks.
And I will admit the clothes are getting heat. All the stuff they're wearing is getting heat. But have you noticed Don Callis is the only one wearing normal adult men's clothing. And he's the manager.
Yeah, he's the only one trying to pick up a woman.
Well, but still, hey, I did pretty good even wearing all my outlandish colors. Point is, the manager is supposed to be wearing all the outlandish shit. The fucking Callis looks like he's making an attempt at being well-dressed and professional, and the rest of them look like a goddamn, fucking... I'm so frazzled I can't form a cogent simile. How about goddamn a break at a fucking child's daycare center? They're all fucking running around in goddamn children's clothing, and they're the ones that are supposed to be the goddamn wrestlers, and the manager looks normal.
Callis looks like a penis with a suit on.
Hey, for heaven's sake, I'll have you know that's a blade scar, not his circumcision scar up there on his forehead. Anyway, so then, as I mentioned, Page nails Pieface. Harpo comes in to attack Page from behind.
What? I have to jump in here. Remember what we said months ago? It may have been 6 months ago about the eventual Adam Page project to get him the championship.
Right.
That eventually it would come down to these guys saying, what a drunk you've become, how awful you've become, and he's going to have to clean up his life to be able to rise to the top of AEW. That's exactly what they're doing.
So Harpo was going to attack Adam Page from behind, but the Dork Order hit the ring, and the world champion of AEW, the most protected belt in the industry, ran from the Dork Order. Then Page challenges for a match. Then Twinkle Toes starts talking in his very best breathy phone sex voice. And he agrees to a 10-man elimination tag team match with the Elite versus the Dork Order. But then Page turns around and makes his own stipulation. If they win, he gets his title shot and Dork Order gets a tag title shot. And this was all taking forever. People were just starting to chant cowboy shit now because they like Page and they like the phrase cowboy shit, which, by the way, thankfully they remember it since they started it a year ago on this TV and nobody's remembered it since. But the promo was taken forever and they're making up their own matches and their own stipulations, and it's WWE garbage where the guys are just allowed to go out and speak on their own. No interviewer, no announcer running the show, no authority figure coming out to bless these matches and actually make them and validate them. The guys are just making up their own shit, It looked like the South Park episode on wrestling where they go out and emote. And then Olivier gets in the ring alone with all of the baby faces and gets up in Paige's face and makes his stipulation. If they win, if his team wins, then Paige can't have his title shot and the Dorks can't have a tag title shot. And then they all just leave. There's no authority figure. They're making their own deals. This went on for fucking ever. And it's embarrassing to sit there and look at the guy who's supposedly the world champion for this company and the guy that's supposed to be his top challenger, the way they're building him up. And you've got these job guys with the masks and the Sharpie marks and the goofy looks and no bodies and the Bucks out there in their ridiculous outfits. And it's a clown show. And this was the longest segment of the night.
It wouldn't end, and when you thought it was going to end, they kept it going. And it's like they had an idea, and I'm not justifying the idea. They had an idea of where they wanted to go, but I guess there was no agent. I don't know how you agent a Young Bucks segment. There was no one there that could sit down and say, here's a way we can get there in less than 8 minutes, with leaving the ring and coming into the ring and more guys coming out there. It is interesting, the idea that Paige's run for the title is going to be based around the idea that he gave up alcohol and he's become clean, a very Young Bucks prudish kind of booking thing. But there was so much heat December of 2019, that Dork Order Young Bucks episode of, remember it, of Dynamite, where the Young Bucks got beat up,
yes,
by the Dork Order and everyone.
All the phony stuff and everything.
All the AEW fans went crazy. They brought up all of a sudden it was, you guys won't get a tag title shot. I didn't know they were asking for one. I hope we're not going to get the Dork Order and the Bucks. They're going to finally get to do the program they wanted to do a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
No, they're not going to do a program. They're just because the Bucks have to wrestle almost every week, so they're going to have to fucking wrestle these guys sooner or later. You know, it's just FTR that we only get to see once every 4 months.
You think that's intentional? I mean, that's a Hogan.
Course.
That's a Hogan move, isn't it? I'm going to bring in the guy that other people say is the best, and then we're never going to let him wrestle on TV.
Yes, we'll make sure that nobody's saying he's the best once we get finished with him. You don't bring in the best in the world at what they do and then hide them when you've got this subpar outlaw mud show group on TV every week, but the guys that actually can wrestle anybody, work with anybody, and probably teach all those guys something if they'd listen, they're never seen on television. No, of course not, because everybody, and rightfully so, was saying, no, it's ridiculous that people are saying that the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team in the world because there's FTR. There, in plain sight, is someone that's obviously, demonstrably, incredibly better than you are. So they bring them in, give them some money, send them off to the corner and hide them. Now there's nobody better.
Yeah, if they don't wrestle, they can't be the best tag team in wrestling.
Exactly.
Yeah, smart.